a service of CNC Worldwide.
CNC Podcasts are a service of CNC News and brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. The travel advisories have been lifted, the water's gone down, and the cleanup is beginning after 3 to 4 inches of rain submerged the Rochester area on Monday. The Avon area in Livingston County and Ontario County around Honeoye were hardest hit. The town of Richmond was declared under a state of emergency after a number of roads washed out, including 2 major ones that connect the town with the rest of the area. Water in parts of the town there was 4 feet deep. Only about 1,500 people lost electrical power this time, but lots of people suffered water damage, filled basements, even in the city of Rochester, and torn up driveways. Livingston County deputies say a Geneseo man drove this car around cones they'd put up to block off one washed-out road, and he ended up totaling the car, as you see here. Hogmeyer Road had washed out in Avon, leaving that huge trench across the road some 5 feet deep or better. The driver went into it, smashing his front end and putting himself in the hospital with minor injuries. Fire Photo 25 got this shot of the aftermath. Governor Cuomo's broken his silence about the Moreland Commission in his first public appearance since the New York Times reported last week that one of his key staffers steered the anti-corruption probe away from the governor himself. Cuomo did not address the issue during his comments on economic development in Buffalo, but later he discounted the story about his staff trying to influence the commission. Cuomo says, of course, his staff gave suggestions, but he says they were ignored.
The best evidence of independence is when someone from the second floor says, well, why don't you do this? The chairman says, let me think about it. And then the chairman says, I disagree, I don't want to do that. That's not a sign of interference. That is demonstrable proof of independence.
Why is that not an attempt to influence an independent commission?
It's called conversation and advice. This is a commission that was talking to all sorts of people. It's talking to my staff, Senate staff, members of the public. We're trying to sort through legislation, what's a good idea, what's a bad idea. The conversation, the dialogue is good.
The governor told reporters afterwards that the Moreland Commission was a phenomenal success. The governor says it accomplished his purpose of getting state lawmakers to approve a new government ethics package, even though it was a watered-down version from his original goal. Once that was done, he said there was no longer a need for the commission, so he disbanded it. Rochester's Monroe High School will have a new principal who's familiar to many of the staff. City School Superintendent Bolgan Vargas has assigned Vicki Ramos to the job for the coming school year. Dr. Ramos was principal at Monroe for 3 years, 2009 through 2012. She's currently the district's director of student placement. She replaces Armando Ramirez, who's being reassigned elsewhere because Superintendent Vargas wasn't satisfied with Monroe's student performance and staff morale. Dozens of parents, students, and staff attended last week's city school board meeting, speaking out for Ramirez to be kept on the job, but the board voted to follow the superintendent's recommendation. Rochester police have charged a city woman with second-degree assault and leaving the scene. They've identified her as the driver who allegedly struck another woman on a bicycle last week. Police say 32-year-old Kiara Baker is the person whose SUV hit 41-year-old Mary Moore while she was riding her bike down Clifford Avenue. Moore is recovering at Strong Memorial Hospital. She suffered 2 broken hips and other injuries. The Rush woman charged with vehicular homicide and drunken driving after last weekend's fatal crash in Henrietta has a previous conviction for driving with ability impaired. Amanda Hunt had her license suspended for 90 days after her earlier conviction. The 25-year-old was charged after a crash in East Rochester in February of 2011. In the latest incident, she's charged with ramming a Henrietta woman's SUV broadside at the intersection of Calkins Road and Highland Drive. Lisa Welk died in the crash. Her 15-year-old daughter was treated and released from Strong Memorial Hospital. The town of Greece has a new public library director effective August 1st. Supervisor Bill Rylick says Cassie Guthrie has been named the new director. She was previously executive director of the Pioneer Library System, which serves 42 member libraries in Ontario, Wayne, Livingston, and Wyoming counties. And prior to that, she managed the Seymour Library in Brockport. Your next CNC podcast is whenever you click on one of our pages and happen to catch one. We post updates as necessary, and I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.